Well, it was interesting. I think every woman in this room will probably identify with this, that in meetings, women, at least the ones that I know, and I did this, is you kind of wait to get a feeling of the room, and you decide that you might wait to say something, and you think you have something to say, and then you think it's stupid, and then some man says it, and you're really mad at yourself for not having said it. I had also, as a professor, I had been teaching my students to interrupt. I said that women especially have to learn to interrupt. So nobody ever raised their hands in class, and it was a little bit of a zoo, but I do believe in kind of active listening. So this is something that I talked about a lot. But then I got in there, and there were 14 men of all different races all sitting there with their arms crossed looking at me, and I thought, well, I'll wait to speak. And then I thought, wait a minute, there's a sign in front of me that says United States, and if I don't speak, then the United States view is not heard today.
Up to August 2007, the general view was that, the view in the US anyway, was that this is quite a trivial problem. Ben Bernanke, who really should have been informed as well as anybody, I think, if I remember correctly, it's from memory, said in a speech, I think, not in testimony, it might have been testimony, in July 2007, that the total losses on subprime mortgages shouldn't be more than $150 billion. And since this was presumably the best informed institution on this in the world, we can safely say they didn't have a clue.
So having demonized fat, we gave a free pass to carbohydrates. And if you look at the statistics from the Department of Agriculture, that's what those 200 to 300 new calories were. We binged on refined carbohydrates because they didn't have any fat in them. You remember Snackwells? It's called the Snackwells phenomenon. This was this line of no-fat junk food. Pardon me if there's anyone here from Nabisco.
First of all, as a general proposition, training the police is the most difficult when you are conducting train and equip missions. And the reason is that individual police are the most vulnerable in an insurgency. They are not units. They're not at a base. They're not deployed far from home. They are actually living in their home village or town or city. Everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows where they live, and everyone knows who their family is. And they know where the kids go to school. And so they are very susceptible to intimidation, to kidnapping, to murder. And they are the first to crumble when you have a situation of an evolving insurgency in an area. So you need actually to support them with units.
I think the critics of sweatshops have the criticisms exactly right. I mean, every criticism one makes is right. I mean, they're exploitative, the wages are low, you have fire escapes that are blocked. They also often cause a great deal of pollution, which is another harmful effect. But the alternative is often even worse. And there's a saying in some of these countries that the only thing worse than being exploited in a sweatshop is not being exploited in a sweatshop. And so, in particular, when I look at Africa and how we can fight poverty more effectively in Africa, then it's hard for me to see how we can do that without generating a lot more jobs and building up some kind of a manufacturing industry in Africa. And if we could build a garment industry, a shoe industry, a sandal industry in Senegal and Ethiopia and some of these countries, that would be hugely beneficial. Right now, there is essentially no manufacturing industry in Africa.
But most Muslims wish to achieve progress within their own religion and culture and to neither be preached to by the West nor forced to adopt Western culture. So while admiring much about the West, they wish to achieve progress through their own culture and in their own way. Despite admiring much about the West, few said adopting Western values would help Muslims progress. Instead, among the statements most frequently associated with the Muslim world was, quote, attachment to their spiritual and moral values will help progress.